Okay. Welcome everybody. It's good to be here. It's good to be. It is phenomenal to be here. I am super excited to be with you today. Looking in the chat right now just to see where people are joining us from. I love that. Love to see that we got people joining us in the chat already. Tech Troublemaker is here. Got a chance to chat with him this week. So Tech Troublemaker, excited to see you with us today. Excited for that. Marlene is here as well. Marlene from Sydney, Australia. What's good? I'm probably saying that wrong. Marianne, that's on me. Stuart Video says, hello, LSP family. It's always good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming through and hanging out with us today. Nobu says, what's up, Kirk? Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being with us today. We truly appreciate that. Wasn't expecting you to open up the show. Listen, this is what we like to call a friendly takeover. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. As you know, this is the Live Streaming Pros channel, and I'm just getting a chance to serve as your host for today. I'm gonna walk you through a live show launch case study. We're going to walk through that case study, and we're excited to be able to share a little bit with you on that. Luria Petrucci is taking a much needed break, and we're just excited about this platform that she's created here. I've been a fan for years and years and years. I often say to Luria, I've known you I've followed you probably longer than many people can remember, because there were some shows before YouTube. Anyway, that's a whole nother story for another time. I see you out there. Thank you so much for adjusting that, Kirk. Okay, cool. No problem. Let's see here. For me, the music is a little overpowering. Got it. Okay. All right. Got it. I see my wife is in the chat. I love to see that. That's so awesome. That's cool. Thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging with us today. We're going to dive right in. We're just going to get a chance to introduce myself to the Livestream Pros audience. I see several of you are watching already. I want to ask you to take a moment right now to share this with a friend. We're going to be going over a launch case study. We're going to go through all the different details, the technical pieces. This particular show, I do it with my wife, and we are keeping it specifically simple. We decided to keep it simple, right? Very minimal lighting setup, very minimal camera setup, very minimal pretty much everything. And so this is one of those that, while my show, How It All Works, which I've been doing for the last couple of years, it does have a lot more technical components. This show is a lot more simpler, and we're excited to be able to share that. Why isn't your wife joining you on camera today? Well, maybe she might make a cameo. No, I'm just joking. She's not coming to hang out with me today. But definitely excited about being able to share this with you guys. Again, we want to make sure you guys get a chance to share and put some comments in the chat as well. We're going to dive right in. So the first thing I want to share with you as we get into our slides today is about the new show. So the new show is called The Incubator's Couch. So you already know who I am, Kirk Nugent, a live video coach, remote producer, a podcast producer, live, what do you call it? Live selling host as well. But then also media pastor. There's a number of things that go behind the name. So that's me. I also go by the Geek Speaker Preacher. Some people have put that in the chat already. And I love all things tech. I love all things media. And we decided, as entrepreneurs who have been in business for some years now, the business that my wife and I run called Composition, we've been in business for almost 13 years now. I'm just loving the quality of your video, Kirk. Thank you so much. We've been in business for almost 13 years now, almost 13 years. And one of the things we realized is there is no space for entrepreneurs, for business owners, for service providers to just come and talk and commiserate and vent, right? To sit on the couch, as it were, and just kind of have that cathartic, that, that experience where you can share, these are my experiences. You can, have a little cry if you want to. And so we created this platform called the Incubator's Couch. Of course, incubators pulling from that whole concept of startups and incubators and all that stuff. And then we wanted to make sure, of course, that people can share these stories. And we thought that these stories would be beneficial. We weren't sure. We decided to take a chance on it. So we came up with this concept and we decided this is the show we're going to launch. And so that is, I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of background on the show that we're going to be talking about. This is the case study, live show launch case study. And I'm just realizing that I have cast study here. So let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Live show case study. So you got to love Ecamm for being able to change these things on the fly. But the new show, again, called Incubator's Couch. And one of the things we wanted to do is, again, like I said in the beginning, is to keep it simple, keeping it simple. So our lighting and our audio and our software was very and decidedly simple, So we're going to go through some of the technical setup, and I want to make the slides a little bit bigger for you. So I'm going to make myself smaller. I hope that that's okay. But the technical setup of the show is really what you see in the picture here is actually a little bit more than what we normally use. I didn't have a picture exactly of that, but I do have a video. I'm going to play that clip in just a second. But what we decided to do it right at our dining room table. We just set up our microphones and camera there, and we were able to kind of do everything right from that space. The end product, I should say, what does it look like to those who are watching, is this view right here. This is the end product. This is what people see when they watch the Incubator's Couch. They just see a very cool overlay with the Incubator's Couch logo. They see myself, my wife, we're the hosts of the show. Then they also see the guest when it's that part of the show, right? We have segments. And so there is a specific segment of the show where the guest comes on, and this is what it looks like. We use Ecamm to record it. So we're using Ecamm to not only record the guest interview, but also to live stream the entire show. So it is a live show, but it does have a pre-recorded component. The guests are not live with us in our home, in our studio. The guests come in and record when they have the time. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Definitely want to make sure if you have questions, you guys ask your questions, save your questions, hold on to your questions, because we want to make sure we get all those questions in. But this is what it looks like here at the Incubator's Couch. Now, one of the things I want to show is a quick video to do the technical video. Here it is. All right. So here I've got this video on a loop. So you kind of see myself, my co-host, my lovely co-host, but you also seeing our guest there at the table. In just a second, I'm going to kind of pan around in this video, and I might even pause it at certain points just to be able to highlight and showcase some more things in the video itself. But you can see the camera, just using a Sony ZV-E10 camera with a 16 millimeter lens that gives us that wide shot. You can also see that we have a little bit of a confidence monitor right there that is connected to the laptop. And all I'm doing from Ecamm is doing a video out to that monitor. So that allows us to see ourselves. It allows us to see our comments, because this is a self-produced show. I also use a stream deck, I should say, on the desk in front of us to start and stop the recording, but also to start and stop the live, and as well to change scenes, to be able to go through and add comments to the screen. All of those things we add to the screen in Ecamm by using the Stream Deck. The laptop, which is running Ecamm, is off to the side there. Next to the laptop is a Rodecaster Pro, and we are using, in this case, we have 3, but we have a total of 4 SM7B microphones. 2 of them are on Gator framework stands. The middle one, which is what my wife is using, Kanik is using, she is on a Samsung ND5 stand. This is the technical aspects. We have 2 GVM LED lights. not really doing any color, any RGB, just 2 lights flanking either side of the camera. So the Sony ZV-E10 is there in the middle, right above the confidence monitor, on either side of the table. Of course, focusing on the 3 guests, we have these 2 lights, and that, my friends, is the technical setup. That's all of it. We're not really using a whole lot of anything else. We're not bringing in any colors or anything like that. You can see in my background behind me, I've got different lamps. I've got some RGB things going. I've got all kinds of stuff. But this setup, we decided we wanted to keep it as simple as possible, because this is, of course, our dining room table. So we wanted to make sure we could be able to set it up, break it down, set it up, break it down. And it is fairly easy. I can set it up. My wife and I can set it up together in about 10 to 15 minutes. And so if we know we have somebody coming over to record, we'll set it up. On the days we know we don't have anybody recording, we'll just break it down. And we have that equipment, that gear kind of sitting off to the side. So just to recap in terms of the technical, let me see where. Love the Stream Deck. I see. Cool. Let me get that off the screen there. Good. So, your tech coach. I love it. We got all kinds of folks just in the chat, and we have our moderators from the Live Streaming Pro team in the chat as well. So if you have anything, they will definitely be able to hang out with you and get you some of those answers for us. And they're in direct communication with me as well, so I'll be able to see their comments. But even as this video gets ready to play again, I'm just going to recap one more time. We're using one camera, not multiple. We're not even using a camera switcher. One camera, which is the Sony ZV-E10, along with the Sigma 16mm lens that gives us that wide shot that enables us to have all myself, my co-host, and of course the guest on camera. You can see that right now. That is a Manfrotto tripod. It's fairly simple. We've got an external monitor on the desk in front of us that gives us that confidence monitor kind of a scenario. You can also see the Stream Deck. On the island behind us in the kitchen is the laptop. The laptop is running Ecamm Live Pro, clutch for all the things that we do that's live, and of course even recorded. And we're going to get into some of the segments and all those pieces and how we lay those out in Ecamm in just a second. But all those things are there. Next to the laptop on the island is a Rodecaster Pro. So we have some XLR cables that kind of go down on the floor, up under the table, and connect into the 3 SM7B microphones you see on the table there. And once you have those, the microphone set up, camera set up, audio is rolling, everything is designed in Ecamm, overlays, different scenes, we are ready to go. And for our guest recordings, all we do is record right in this scene, right from the Stream Deck, right from Ecamm. So that makes life very simple, and that gives us everything that we need. Any questions on the tech setup portion before we get ready to dive into the next piece? Any questions on the tech setup question, the technical setup? Because we do have another piece here that we want to get into, the technical pieces. Any questions on the technical? All right, let's see here. The best of the best. I love that, Floyd. Yes. Your tech coach is the best of the best. I love that. Let's see here. Anything else? Any other questions in the chat? I don't think we have any, so that's good. We're moving in the right direction. The next section, we want to talk through we have a question. How many lights did you say you have set up? We have 2 GVM. Let me go back to the technical piece here. So there are 2 GVM LED panel lights. So they're the small, they're really small square lights. And I'm actually just pointing them up to the ceiling. The ceiling is white, and so we're bouncing that light off of the ceiling and it comes back down to give you that nice, cool, crisp, even light that we were looking for. So we're not really looking to, again, do a whole lot of enhancements, color things or anything like that. Do the cinematic effect, the Ken Burns. No, we're not doing. We just wanted to have a nice, good, evenly lit set for us to be able to work with. And so, unfortunately, I didn't pan up when I was recording this quick little video, but you can see the poles, the two light poles on either side of the camera. So just two lights there, just two lights there. What is your workflow for each episode? Tech Troublemaker, you're helping me. You're helping me move along to the next section. But we want to talk about, of course, the show setup and some of those pieces as well. Let's go to that real quick. So show planning and assets. This is going to give you the answer to that question, Tech Troublemaker. Roy is being I see that creator classroom. This is going to give you the answer to your question when you talk about what does your segments look like? What does your workflow look like for each segment? We're going to dive into that in this particular piece as we look at show planning and assets. Show planning and assets. On the screen right now, you're seeing a screenshot of our assets. This is we use Frame.io in our video team to be able to review and provide feedback and critique for our video assets. So this is where those are delivered. That's what you're seeing on screen. Okay, I love that. I love that. I love that, Tech Troublemaker. All right, but yes, we definitely have segments in the show. We have segments in the show, right? So we have, of course, segment bumpers. We have those segment bumpers are for a number of reasons. So in the show, we have the host rant. That's right at the beginning of the show. And that's where myself and my co-host, my wife, we just kind of talk about something that's on our minds, something that's weighing heavy on us, and something that we definitely feel is of benefit and value to those who are watching. Then we have the resource of the week. We always have a resource of the week. These are not very long segments. They're not meant to be long, but we have the resource of the week and we share with people. These are some of the resources that you can tap into for your own business, right? So we share that. Then we go into the incubator spotlight, right? We want to spotlight a business, and that's always going to be the business that we are interviewing, right? So we're interviewing a business as our guest, and we're going to spotlight that business as well. Just makes it simple. So we give them a few seconds to spotlight their business. We have that incubator spotlight. So there's a bumper video that plays, that incubator spotlight plays, and then we go directly into the therapy session. Of course, playing on this whole idea of the incubator's couch and all that means, we wanted to make sure that we are indeed utilizing terminology that's going to, lend itself to the branding of the show. So the therapy session, where we actually sit on the couch, quote unquote, and we actually hear the story of the different people who are coming through to hang out with us. All of those segments are done live. And we do those live with Ecamm. We play the countdown clock and intro video. We come live to welcome everybody. We play the bumper. It's just a 10-second bumper that denotes the host rant, and you can see the host rant on the screen, right on the bottom, right next to me. You see host rant there. So we play that bumper. We go into our host rant. We play another bumper. We go into the resource of the week, and you can see that 10-second video on the screen there as well. Then we play another bumper. Then that takes us into our incubator spotlight, and we play another bumper that takes us into the therapy session. So each segment of the show, what's going on, James Hicks? Each segment of the show is actually broken up by these bumpers. They're not very long, but it really helps my virtual assistant who goes through and does chapters after the fact. She can just look for those bumpers and she can add those chapters in very quickly and easily. And then, of course, Ecamm does have a function for chapters as well. If you are thinking about that, and you can actually, program that when you play each bumper, you can actually add that marker in Ecamm. And so then you have those timestamps in your video already to be able to just upload, to add to the description or into one of the comments so that you have those chapters already done after your live is done. But we are also using these segments to really help us with our repurposing strategy as well. As I mentioned, most, if not all of these segments are live except for the therapy session. We record those with the guest at a time that works both for them and for us. So those interviews are scheduled, and it helps us. It helps us in multiple ways. Because we have those interviews scheduled and recorded well ahead of time, we were able to start recording interviews for the show long before the show started. And that kind of gets us into some of the launch strategy. Long before the show started, we started interviewing people for the incubator spotlight. All it required us to do is create one scene with one overlay, and we just hit record in Ecamm, and we're able to record those interviews with our guests. And those interviews, we just started to stack them. So even before we launched the show, we had several interviews already recorded and ready to go, so that when we're ready to launch, we're already able to be consistent. There's so much here in that one component that I want to make sure you guys are catching. I see your question, Andrew. Says, how much money have you invested in gear and production costs for this gig? So for the gear that we are using for Incubator's Couch, a lot of it is a part of what I use as I go from place to place, from client project to client project, to produce their live shows or produce their podcast. That's what I do in my business. So for us, it wasn't really didn't have to add anything additional. We didn't purchase anything additional to be able to set up in the dining room to be able to do this, because this is what I do on a regular basis. So we're just using portion of my, what I like to call my go bag, to be able to do that. I know that not everybody's in that scenario, but if I had to put a dollar number on it, we're talking about the camera, we're talking about the soundboard, the 4 mics. Don't have to have 4, just depends on how many people you're gonna have, but the camera, the soundboard, mics, and of course an Ecamm subscription, and then a machine that can run Ecamm. And of course, design and stuff like that. You can create your own bumper videos. These things you can do. Like Gary Jones says, this is what I do. I love it. But if I was to put a number on it, I would say probably in the neighborhood of maybe $2,000. Those mics have come down in price. You can get those now, and you don't even necessarily have to buy the SM7B. So somewhere in the neighborhood of that. I mean, you don't have to buy the actual items that I have. Maybe it might fluctuate, maybe $2,500, somewhere in that neighborhood. But you can get the camera, you can get the lens, definitely for under $1,000. You can definitely get all 4 mics under $1,000. And then probably just, the subscription for Ecamm and your sound interface, which doesn't necessarily have to be the Rodecaster Pro. That's just the one that we decided to use. And you can probably get that for about $500 to $600 as well. So all of everything included, I'm thinking about $2,500, somewhere in that neighborhood, for all the things there. I hope that helps to answer your question. Thank you so much for that question, Anthony. So yes, these bumpers help to not only break up the show, but it also helps to give us those segments. And I can tell you, there are segments like the host rant that we can clip that out and we can give that out to the audience just by itself. There are people who just want the host rant. There are people who just want the resource of the week. We highlight different tools like IFTTT or like answer.com is one that we highlighted a few weeks ago that will literally help you to say no. It's a really cool platform for entrepreneurs and business owners who, we have to say no creatively in ways that allow us to continue to do business with people. So these are really cool resources that we've highlighted in the show, and some people just want the resource of the week. And so because we have that chapter marker, they can just go to it, or because we have that bookended by these 2 bumpers, we can clip that part out and we can repurpose that and use that for other content as well. Whenever you're looking to design your workflow, your show flow, you always want to make sure you're thinking through, what are some of the pieces in this show that I may be able to reuse later? One of the things that I love, of course, from the therapy session is our interview, right? We have our guests on and we interview them, and it's generally 20 minutes. We try to stick to 20 minutes. Sometimes it goes 25, but that interview with the guest, we can do just a little bit of editing, minimal editing, and make that just the interview into a podcast, which we have already begun the process of doing. And so from these live shows, we've already been able to get multiple pieces of content because of the way we've structured it and because of the way we've designed it. Any questions on that part? Any questions on that part? This is let's go back one here. Sorry, let's go to this piece. This is one of the videos, one of the shows that we did, and of course you can see the chapter markers. And the reason why I show this is because literally the chapter markers are the points of the show, right? So it makes it very simple and easy. They are not long segments. My VA does try to put some more chapters in for the therapy session. So it's not just therapy session, the whole thing. She tries to make sure she pulls out some really cool nuggets as well. And of course, everything you can add in your description in terms of chapter markers helps to really index your video. And it is searchable on these platforms as well. So I wanted to make sure we highlight some of those pieces there. In addition, I did want to also highlight or showcase a couple of those bumpers, but I see that we have we have some questions here. Let's go to our screen share. This is no longer a screenshot. This is the actual this is the actual stuff here. So in the graphics folder, we have some of our thumbnails that the designer does. Of course, we did do the Incubator's Couch logo. We got that done. We got the vector for it. We got the AI file, all those good things. So we did do some prep work ahead of time to be able to get that situated. As I mentioned, here is just a quick, I'm just kind of scrub my mouse across it so you can kind of get a feel for what some of these bumpers look like. And of course, they're only 7 seconds each. So they're very quick. They're not meant to be an entire video. It's just a quick break in the show to help people know that this is the next segment, and helps of course gives us that visual indicator as well. We do have an intro video, we do have an outro video that we have credits on, and then of course we do have our countdown, and those are the assets for the show. So these are the video assets that we've created, and we take those video assets, drop them in Ecamm, and just kind of basically segment the show in terms of scenes in Ecamm, so that you have these, each video would be a scene, and then it will automatically drop you into whatever the next thing is after that scene. So that kind of helps to kind of frame out all the things that we've done with the show. One of the things I also want to mention in terms of with the show itself, we definitely learned that by interviewing people ahead of time, right, that allowed us to be consistent, but it also allowed us to get ahead of the curve, right? So now that we know what the interview is ahead of the live show, we can now name the live show properly, right? I'm going to just kind of pull up some of the things here. We can name the live show properly. We can name the live show something that really is punchy based on what we know the guest has said. So let's take a look at some of them. Know your worth and charge for it. We came up with that because we know what that interview was like with this particular guest. Can a business be too accommodating? We know that because of the way that we were able to set up this interview with this particular guest. Here's yet another. This one was really good. Consistency and communication are critical in business, and we know those pieces because of the discussion we had with these particular guests during the live show, and so that makes it even more impactful when we're getting ready to promo the live show, where we're naming it for YouTube or for some of the other platforms that we stream to. We can even put in the description things that are really going to speak to the issue that we know is going to be touched on in this particular episode. Plus, we already know what our resource of the week is, so we can kind of promo a little bit of that. We can put some of those things in the description. But being able to set this up in this way we've found to be one of the really cool game changers for our live show, and it's really allowed us to be consistent. Really allowed us to be consistent. I cannot say that enough. Consistency. All right, so we have, let's go here. We're going to move this forward some. Our next, of course, is show launch and branding, but we do have some questions. One from, let's go back here. Tech Troublemaker says, what are you using to store and organize your assets? It's called frame.io. It's called frame.io. I'm going to actually type that in my chat with the moderators. I'm going to put frame.io there so they can actually get that. You're way too quick, Kathleen. But anyway, frame.io is what we use to organize our assets. I really love that tool in that it is, let me go back to our screen share here, in that it allows us not only to organize our things, I've got OCD, so organization is a thing for me, but I can also come here and pause the video in a specific section and type in this comment portion and say to my video editor, hey, let's remove this piece and add something else. And that is actually timestamped, so they know exactly when. So I really love frame.io for that. And, for your graphics, right? So that was for your videos, but for your graphics, you can actually go into your graphics anytime now and actually highlight a section of the video and annotate something there, so you can actually tell your designer, hey, we want to make this change or we want to make that change. So I'm a really big fan of frame.io. Thank you so much for that question, Tech Troublemaker. Always good to have you with us. James Hicks says, what platform is this, Kirk, that you're using as a repository? Oh, same question. So both of you guys had the same question. Both of you guys wanted to know what is Frame, what am I using for my assets, and it is frame.io. Listen, frame.io works with Final Cut. It works with Adobe Premiere. You can actually export directly from your timeline into frame.io. In fact, they even have a camera to cloud component of frame.io that you might want to look into. If you have a camera that supports it, you can record directly on your camera and upload directly to Frame, and your team, no matter where they are, no matter how decentralized you are, my team happens to be in the Philippines, they can have access to those videos and they can start working on editing them almost immediately. So frame.io is that tool, and I see that our moderator has already put that in the chat, so we're excited that you guys are going to be able to have that answer. Thank you so much. So let's get back to our slides here. Live show branding, show launch and branding, show launch and branding. That's what I want to say. Live show launch case study. This one is actually correct. So now that we've kind of gone through what the technical parts are, we've also looked at show planning and segments, the assets, the bumpers, the repurposing strategy that we've employed. Now let's talk about the promotional piece. Let's talk about, of course, in this case study, it's a live show, brand new. We're actually launching it on a new YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel had been there for some time, but had never had consistent content on it. This is our business YouTube channel, Composition LLC. So we knew that we were not working with an existing audience. We're not working with, you get my point. This is basically what anybody who is starting out fresh would have to deal with. This is what we were dealing with as well. So now we've started doing some of the interviews with these guests. We have pictures and clips. Let me show you one, right? So this is a quick little video that I do every time we have a guest in studio with us. And it's just a quick little clip. And we would take those clips and we would post them just to kind of let people know this interview is coming. It may be a month or so before that interview comes, but what it does, it kind of creates a buzz. It creates some attraction. This is what promotional things look like. And this was part of our launch strategy that we really wanted to showcase. So show, launch, and branding. Of course, we wanted to make sure we had our logo. You saw that in the assets that we showcased earlier. But we also wanted to make sure that we had a site and we had a channel, and we had some places for this content to live. Essentially, a lot of times we don't think through all of the things that you're going to want to have as you prepare for a launch, right? And you want that term launch is so cool. I'm just a huge fan of utilizing the term launch and really making it a launch, right? Not just, hey, I put my first live show up. What did you do to prepare? How did you prime the pump? How did you get people excited about this live show? And so we're going to share some of those steps that we were able to do to be able to make this a reality. Of course, we did set up the website. You can see that on the screen now. iCouch.show. And listen, our moderator has been really good about putting those links in the comment section. Plus, it's in the description of the video today. iCouch.show. We set up a very basic website. We're not talking about anything. We're not breaking the, thank you for that. Nobu says, great URL. We're not, cracking the atom. we were just trying to make sure that there's a placeholder where people can go and say, what is Incubator's Couch? Let me go to the website. Okay, all right. At least now I know what the Incubator's Couch is. I have an existing live show that we were able to utilize. Let me move to this next screen here. This is the watch page of the website. So the website has a main page and really just kind of describes what Incubator's Couch is. It showcases the most recent show. So you're going to see on there the show from a week ago. We're getting ready to post the information for the show that's going to be this coming Monday. But you'll have that on there as well. At the bottom of that main page, you just have I'm saying this and I'm like, why not just show it? Okay, at the bottom of that main page, right, we have this who we are. We have, of course, support the show. We set up a member page. Then we also have, again, like I said, the latest episode. There it is. And then we have this playlist of videos. And I'm going to get into how was this playlist of videos created. But want to learn more about Incubator's Couch? In these 5 videos, host Kirk and Kanique share the main components we hope the Incubator's Couch community can provide. And it really does kind of touch on all of the different things that we hope to do with the Incubator's Couch. But that was also part of our launch strategy. But if you go up to the top of the page, you'll see up here that it says watch. And so if you click on the watch page, you also have all of the shows that we've done so far available to you. And on this watch page, this is a WordPress plugin, if I could say that. This is a WordPress plugin that pulls directly from a playlist. So every time I add a video to this playlist on YouTube, it actually adds to this watch page on the website. And if I click on one of them, it does not play it on YouTube. It plays it plays it here on the page. Say that 3 times fast. WordPress plugin. But it plays it here on the page. So the person is not leaving the page. They have a full experience. You almost have them, quote unquote, captive. There's, you'll still get ads and things if you have that in your YouTube monetization setup, but this allows for each one of these videos to be played here as opposed to anywhere else. Okay? And you kind of see how some of those pieces play in. So that was a major component of our strategy. Oh, fancy. What's the plugin? Pretty please. Nobu's asking what the plugin is. And that I would have to defer to my wife. She is a web designer. She does all the web things. I don't know what the name of the plugin is, but I'm certain she wouldn't mind sharing. She's in the chat. In fact, her comment is right above yours. So, but this is one of the major pieces of our strategy, is making sure we had a space on the World Wide Web that allows people to come and say, oh, this is what this is. We also have, of course, a support page. We set this up immediately. We said, no, we want to make sure that people can support this concept that we are doing right out the gate. And you can see here, their coffee is being purchased for Incubator's Couch. And we were replying to some of the people, letting them know we thank them for their support of the Incubator's Couch. We wanted to start right out the gate. You do not have to start or launch your show monetized or unmonetized. You don't have to wait for somebody to tell you that you can monetize. So definitely wanted to make sure we have that on there as well. Okay, just making sure I get my my comments. All right, cool, we're good. So yes, thank you for that. David Hunt is in the comment section as well. But so we have that page there, and of course we have the playlist set up as a podcast on YouTube. I want to make sure that that's said as well. It's a podcast on YouTube, so keep that in mind as well. So we have this playlist on our page there, and this is the Incubator's Couch promo show. So let me back up a little bit. I have an existing live show. That I was able to leverage as we were launching this show. So I did a show on my platform, on my YouTube channel, where I talked to my audience about this concept of an incubator. And are you an incubator? Tying it into my audience, the title of that show was, Are Content Creators Incubators? Are content creators businesses? And we all know that the answer is an absolute, unequivocal yes. And so I was just kind of making that link that all of the people who my current channel serves, who are content creators, live streamers, you are also businesses, you are also incubators. And I let them know that this is a show that we're getting ready to launch on another channel. So just that one little show where I made that link and then told them that this is something we're going to do. My wife joined me at the end of that show. We had a really great Q&A session with my audience and just let them know that this is something that's coming. Of course, the page was there. Of course, the support page was there. And so they could go and start following. Another thing that we did, and you see that our moderator is actually putting some of these in the chat now. We purchased 2 domains, iCouch.show, and we purchased iCouch.live. So iCouch.show is the actual website, but iCouch.live was our domain that we're going to use for links. And so you're seeing her put iCouch.live/YT, iCouch.live/FB, iCouch.live/podcast, iCouch.live/member. And those are all of the different platforms that we had. Our member page on Buy Me a Coffee, we had our website, we have our Facebook page, YouTube page, and then we had the podcast playlist. So we have all of those links in a very short URL that anybody can use, and that gives you that branding already. And so those are some of the cheat codes that you can do as you get ready to launch. This is part of our launch strategy. Setting up the show, get yourself a logo. We just went to Fiverr. We got ourselves a logo done. We created the assets for the show. We created the page, purchased the domains. Didn't cost us much at all. A .show domain was like $3. And for your live shows, I mean, why not have a .show domain, right? Tried to make the name as short as possible. And so instead of Incubator's Couch all the way spelled out, we know everybody does the I thing now. So it's iCouch. You know? We thought that was really cool. So iCouch.show. Then we had iCouch.live and all of our links based on that. So that's part of the launch strategy. Then we of course, set up the show pages, and we did an explainer video on that page with these easy links. Now, we did start doing, as I mentioned before, some of those social posts, right? Let's go to that promo piece there. But we started doing some of these social posts to showcase some of the things that we were highlighting there. So some of these social posts were, kind of priming the pump, letting people know that this is something that was coming. Here's another set of pictures. As you can see, multiple guests that we've had on the couch. There's 4 guests on the screen there, 4 different guests. So you see me and Kanik have changed clothes and all those. But anyway, the idea is that these are vertical photos that we're able to post to social, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, saying, hey, look who we have on the couch this week. We're highlighting this business, and we can tag the person. And that creates a little bit of a buzz. It creates buzz. It creates anticipation. It lets people know, hey, these guys are working. Sometimes we post 2-3 of these pictures a week, which let them know there's multiple interviews happening for the Incubator's Couch. This is not something happening in a vacuum. This is not a concept that they're just thinking about. They're actually doing work behind the scenes even before, get this, the launch of the show. Even before the launch of the show. But yeah, these are some of the things that we want to make sure you guys know in terms of your launch strategy. How can you begin to build a groundswell and some buzz around what it is that you're doing? So those social posts were there. But the thing that I think was probably the top thing, and now this is not something new for me. It's something that I actually coach I have coaching clients that I've walked through launching live shows, that I walk through launching their content. And I always tell them, look, do a week of live shows, 1 full week. We did 5 live shows the week prior to the launch of our show. So Monday through Friday, the week prior to the launch of our show, we did a live show every day that week at 2 p.m. every day that week. And we went live showcasing 1 or 2 things that we were talking about. One of the first live show was called The Loneliest Ship. Are you also repurposing the audio only platform? Yes, Nobu, we are. We are repurposing the audio for the interviews. Specifically, we're repurposing that onto other platforms. Let me see what we have here. Okay, that showcases the support page. But yes, we are leveraging that portion as well. But we also highlighted in that first show, thank you so much for the question. We also highlighted in that first promo show, The Loneliest Ship, that entrepreneurship can be a very lonely ship, but the Incubator's Couch is a space where we hope that it won't be as lonely, where we hope that you can come and commiserate, that you can come and find people of like mindset, similar issues and struggles, stresses and strife, and you find your tribe essentially. And many people have shared with us that they found that to be true. The second show that week, 5 promo shows for the whole week. The second show we did was entitled, What Have You Come to Teach Me? You know, we're talking about these client interactions, some of them good, some of them bad, major opportunities that you get in business, all these different things. Are you thinking about what these experiences have taught you? Have you written them down? Have you shared them with anybody else? Doing that post-mortem, recognizing that this is what my business is about, that was absolutely powerful for several people, and that kind of drew them in. The third episode was we all might be clientzillas, and of course we coined that phrase. And this was one of the episodes, one of the shows where we started to see, you know, people were showing up regularly now. All right, they decided I'm going to be here at 2 p.m. every day because they're doing this promo thing, and I'm kind of interested in this incubator's couch concept, and kind of you're getting them used to the fact that you are going to be going live on this channel. Please subscribe, right? That was the call to action. Hey, we're going to be giving away t-shirts. What t-shirts are we giving away? We were just doing the incubator's couch t-shirts to begin with, but from the promo week, we were able to get, I think, 6 or 7 different t-shirt names. And especially, of course, are you a clientzilla? Clientzilla meaning same as you would say like a bridezilla. And we couched it in the framing of we all have been clientzillas at one point or another in our lives. And so wanted to make sure that was prominently placed in our promo week. And then the last one, of course, was resources in relationships. And what we're highlighting here is community, perspective, camaraderie, networking, and release. Those were the things that we were just highlighting with this whole experience of calling it the incubator's couch. And so that I see your creator classroom says clientzilla, LOL, but we've all been there at one point or another. And so these are some of the things and some of the ways that we've been able to promote the show. Some of the t-shirts that we came up with from the promo week, not from the actual live show, just from the promo week was, it's in the email. That's one of the t-shirts. Another one was, are you a clientzilla? Of course, I said that one. I was, you can't pay for dopeness. That was another t-shirt. I've got PTCD, post-traumatic client disorder. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, these are all things that came crowdsourced, right? The audience did this with us. And so you baking into your live show experience, your live show launch, a social proof, and you're already galvanizing people around this idea that this is my live show and this is what we're here to do. This is what we hope to the experience to be and what we hope to provide in this space. Hey, what's going on, Eden? Always good to see you. But yeah, I might be a clientzilla. Yes, indeed. Another one was exposure is not currency. Another one was there's room on the couch for you. And then the last one was you've got to know, KNOW, your no, and guard your yes. KNOW, your no, and guard your yes. All of these were crowdsourced. And what happens when you crowdsource, Luria teaches this all the time on this channel, and you guys know this as live streaming pros, when you allow the audience to come through that experience with you, they're lifers. They've got your channel bookmarked and subscribed. The notification bell is turned on. They're sharing with others. We had an experience a couple weeks back where somebody who came and joined us during the promo week came through for one of the live shows and shared it on their social media platforms, and someone of their friends came in and they are now a committed follower of the Incubator's Couch. Why? Because they found in the Incubator's Couch this community, and they were like, no, I've got to be part of this. I've got to come back week by week. And so I want to open it up for some questions. I hope that we've been able to kind of showcase some of the things that we did to launch this live show. Very minimal, simple setup in terms of cameras and equipment, utilizing and leveraging Ecamm for both pre-recorded and live content, which was absolutely dope. Record in Ecamm and just play that video back when we're live. We don't even edit the video. We don't even edit the video that we record with the guest. We just play that video back while we're live. And then we're able to create this experience. Nobu saying, I'm feeling some FOMO. I think I need to watch iCouch, LOL. And we'd love for you to be able to check it out. But I'm interested now to kind of hear from you guys. What are some of the things that you have heard today in our time together? We've got a few minutes left before we close it out. But what are some of the things that you've heard today that gave you some ideas that allowed you to kind of see some of the things that you can incorporate in launching your live show. This is a case study, and some of the information and things that we've shared is what we did and what we found were the impact, how that had impact with whether or not people decided to join us, how we're able to launch this new show on a new channel and still maintain about anywhere from 60 to 80 views on a week-to-week basis, which is great if you know your numbers, right? That's as you're starting out, you're creating that groundswell, you're creating that interest, making sure you're itching where people are scratching and delivering on that value proposition, especially as we are able to name our live shows intelligently because we have the interview already recorded before we even do the show graphics, right? These are all the different things that we know to be the cheat code for the live show, for this live show launch case study. And I would love to hear some of your questions. All right. David Hunt has a question, says, how many shows should you have in the can before starting a show or launching content, or should you just start? There's many schools of thought on this one. David, thank you so much for that question. David Hunt is actually one of the moderators on my channel. It's one of my guys. But David, one of the things I like to say, folks, I hate that this is the answer, but it does depend. It depends largely on you as a content creator and as a live streamer. If you're doing it as a live show, do you already have the rhythm of doing live? Because live is its own muscle that you must work. And depending on how you, Floyd says, just start, depending on how you have worked that muscle, that's going to determine, whether or not this is something you actually want to do. I love the concept of just start. In fact, I was doing a live show once, and one of my coaching clients came in the chat, was like, man, I'm going to go live next week. And I said to her while my live show was going on, why don't you go live right now? And she took me up on that challenge, and she went live. And while I was live, finished her live, came back to my live and said to me, hey, I just went live. That felt so good. Thank you. I am going to push up my timeline. I'm going to start doing my lives starting next week. I think, I'm a carpenter's son, so I like to tell people you want to measure twice, cut once. But I also don't believe in analysis paralysis, right? Where you're just, I need this, I need this, I need this. You have the concept already. You know exactly who you want to serve. You know what types of content you want to put out there. Sit down for an hour today, create a list of 10, 12 topics that you can cover live show by live show, and begin seeking out or thinking through, who would I want as a guest? Or maybe I want to teach these myself. Whatever that structure of your show looks like, you can have that done today, and you can be doing your live shows next week. What I don't want people to walk away with is like, man, I need to do all this stuff. I believe that being intentional about your launch strategy is definitely key and critical. But I also believe that if you have this concept and this idea, don't just let it die because you don't have all the different pieces. You don't have the camera or the equipment or anything like that. You want to make sure you get that thing out there. I hope that answers your question, David. Thank you so much. The creator classroom says, I had to go live for a month and I went back in with no plan and thought this was going to be bomb. It actually went well anyways. Hey, look at that. The truth is, as I mentioned, it is a muscle that you're working, this muscle of live streaming. So you want to make sure you are working that muscle. You want to make sure that you're flexing that thing, and it can atrophy, but it is kind of like riding a bike. Once you have gotten the rhythm of going live and doing live content and sharing, you can go live at any point in time and you'll be fine. So we're coming right up on our close time here. So I don't want to go too far over my time frame. I'm super excited and humbled, honored, honestly, that the folks at Live Streaming Pros, particularly Luria and her team, saw it fit to be able to have me come through and share a little bit today on my own, like a full takeover. I thought that was absolutely awesome. So definitely wanted to highlight them for that. It sounds like you prioritize promoting the live show part and not the audio part. So I'm curious how you drive traffic to the audio platforms. So the audio piece, it is still a part of that same strategy of what we are tickling people with out there. Some of the quote memes that we might put out, some of the audiograms that we might put out will lead them, those breadcrumbs will lead them to the iCouch.show page. And once they're on that page, now I personally believe in allowing the audience to decide how they want to consume the content. There are people who want video, and so there'll be video there. But then there are those who want audio. There'll be audio there. I personally believe in allowing people to do both, to see that there is both, and that they can actually decide on their own what they want to do. But there is specific things that we put in audio format, because you want to make sure that there is, even for your regulars, you want there to be incentive for them to look at least be aware of that the audio version is coming. And it may not be exactly the same experience as what we got during the live show or during the video program. So making sure that there is some differentiation in terms of what your content looks like, what your content strategy looks like, is also part of that launch strategy as well. So I know it doesn't sound like it, but as they say, I'm not looking to lead people to a specific YouTube video. I'm looking to lead people to iCouch.show. And once I have them at iCouch.show, I can get them on my mailing list. I can get them to look at a video. I can get them to look at a short or a reel. All of that is going to be on that page. And so we're going to give them that full experience in that space. I hope that makes sense. Got it. So traffic goes to the site. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Nobu. Absolutely. Excellent. My physical health is what results in me not being able to go live. But now that I'm used to it, I can typically go right back in. That's a great point. Creator Classroom. Thank you so much for that. That's a great point. Fam, I think we have had a full time together here. We just got a minute left. And I just, again, want to say a word of thanks to all of you for coming through and hanging out with us today. This has been a Live Stream Pros takeover, but also a live show launch case study, a case study where we want to showcase one of the things that we found in launching this new live show. We just launched it a few months ago, back in the first Monday in May was the first show. And so that week prior to that first Monday of May was our launch week, as they say, promo week. And we highlighted all the things that we did, not only from the technical perspective, the planning of the show and the different segments, but also the launch strategy and some of the repurposing that we're doing, and some of the things that we've learned along the way that we feel are beneficial to you guys. I want to say thank you guys so much for coming through and hanging out with us today. It has been my pleasure to host you, and we hope that we'll see you somewhere around these internet streets or in the next video. Later, fam.